Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to show you how to file an amended single location sales and use tax return. This is a logged in activity, so you must have a Maine tax portal username and be logged in to do this. We will begin on the logged in home screen in the summary tab and navigate down to our sales and use tax panel, where we'll click the option to view and file returns. And we'll click the option to view or amend return for the period for which we'd like to amend. This will bring us to the return in the default mode, which is view. Since we'd like to amend, we're going to click the amend hyperlink towards the top right-hand corner of the screen. A few notes before we begin. Required fields are indicated by a red asterisk or a red circled I, and you will be unable to continue until all these fields are completed. There is also a Save Draft button at the bottom of the screen. You may use this to save your progress at any time and continue later. You may also click the Cancel button. This will not save your progress. Or you may navigate to a previous page by clicking either the Previous button or a previous page name in the blue bar at the top. On this demographic information screen, there is one required field, and that is our reason for amending. So we'll select the most applicable reason from the drop-down menu and click Next to proceed. Next, we're brought to the sales breakdown screen. Any values from our original return are already filled in. You only need to change the values that you are changing as part of your amended return. And we'll click Next to continue. If you need further information on any field and what it's asking for, blue text in the field description indicates that you may click it for more information. So again, we'll continue through this screen, only adjusting the values that we are changing as part of our amended return. And we'll navigate through the next few screens for cannabis and rentals, only filling out or changing the values that are applicable to you and your business and your reason for amending. On the taxable sales screen, we can see our total taxable sales based on the information entered so far, as well as our sales tax auto-calculated for us. We'll confirm that these appear accurate and click Next to continue. For the use tax screen, again, we'll fill out any fields that are relevant to us and click Next to proceed. And we'll do the same thing for the fees page. On the total due and credits screen, we can see our total tax and fees due with this return. And if we had any credit carry forward from a prior period, we would see that here. Lastly, on this screen, we can also enter the credit for sales tax paid on goods purchased for resale, if applicable. And we'll click Next to continue. On the documentation page, we'll add any supporting documents for any amounts claimed on the bad debt line or the credit for sales tax paid on goods purchased for resale. And we can also add supporting documentation for our amendment. Since we are amending, we'll add supporting documents now by clicking the Add Attachment hyperlink, entering a description of the file, browsing for our file, and once we've selected our file, we'll click OK. And we'll repeat this process for any applicable attachments. And we'll click Next to proceed. Next is the balance screen. There's some very important information on this page, so I'm going to pause here to go over that now. The first line is your account balance line. The account balance shows what your balance for this account was for the previous business day. It may not include all applicable penalties, interest, payments, and or returns. It also does not reflect changes made as a result of this amended return. The second line, difference from previous tax due, does calculate the change that you are making as a result of this amended return. And on the third line, we ask that you add the first two lines together and enter the total on that line. And lastly, we are asked if we would like to make a payment now. For the purposes of today's demonstration, we're going to say yes and click next to proceed. On the payment screen, we are asked to indicate whether our bank account is a checking or savings, enter our routing number, our account number, and our account number again to confirm. We are also asked if we would like to save this payment channel for future use. For the purposes of today's demonstration, we're going to leave that as no. The payment date does default to today. Please note that if you are amending past the payment due date, you will be unable to select a future date. The amount does default to the total amount due, but you may enter a lesser amount if you so choose. You will not be able to enter an amount greater than the total amount due. Either way, you'll be asked to confirm the amount again. And we'll click next to proceed. On the summary screen, we'll review the information and verify that it appears correct. And we'll click next to proceed. And on the declaration page, we are asked to check the box indicating that our return is true, correct, and complete. And we'll enter in the first and last name of the person filing this return. And again to confirm. And we'll click submit. And we're brought to the confirmation screen. As always, Maine Revenue Services recommends that you keep this information for your records. And that concludes our demonstration of how to file an amended single location sales and use tax return. Thank you all for watching.